नमस्कार, मैं अशोक व्यास, कार्यक्रम इनसाइट में अशोक व्यास में आपका स्वागत करते हुए आज हमारे उन सभी मुस्लिम भाई बहनों को ईद की मुबारकबाद जो पूरे रमज़ान के महीने में बड़ी तपस्या के बाद इस खुशी के दिन तक पहुँचे हैं और सेवइयों के साथ और बाकी जो पारंपरिक ढंग से ईद मनाई जा रही है उसकी मुबारकबाद पेश करते हुए हम बढ़ते हैं आज के कार्यक्रम के उस विषय पर जो सबको जोड़ने के साथ जुड़ा हुआ है. We will be talking about force of oneness, and we are fortunate and delighted and happy to be welcoming someone in our studio who is a symbol of Nari Shakti, as was recognized by President of India in 2015. But what she has done is founded Ekam Foundation. But we will talk more about the force of oneness right from that angle where we have two friends supporting each other, and that orbit of friendship as it grows and it starts embracing everyone, then that force of oneness grows even bigger and bigger. So first let me in our studio welcome founder of Ekam Foundation, Dr. Sai Lakshmi. Sai ji, swagat hai aapka. And as I mentioned about friend, and we have a friend who is joining us from a distance, and where she is and what Dr. Nilima thinks about Dr. Sai Lakshmi as well as about Ekam Foundation and what led her to start Ekam USA. We'll hear from her. Dr. Nilima via Skype, welcome to you. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaskar.
I want to begin with you talking about oneness. Where do you see the inspiration of Dr. Sai leading you to initiate founding Ekam USA?
So Sai has always been an inspiration, right from medical school in terms of doing charity work and taking care of patients and having service-mindedness. So when she started this organization, we all of our classmates being physicians, we've experienced the same frustrations of not being able to care for children or patients who don't have the financial resources. So when she started this, it was a unique opportunity where I could sit in my living room and be able to help a child in need. And that's why we are all being carried in this wave of oneness, joining Sai in this effort to help the children in need.
So talking about source of inspiration, and let me connect with Dr. Sai in terms of her source of inspiration in starting Ekam Foundation and how this word came to you.
Yeah, Ekam basically means oneness, and there has been an amazing soul in my life during my house urgency who made me experience, gave me a feeling. She was a patient who was literally on the streets, and she was brought to the medicine department where I had to, as a doctor, take care of her. And that was a time when we typically get our degree as a doctor and we are so proud. But at the end of it, she made me realize that even if I was not there and anybody else as a doctor would have made her all right, but she in fact gave me this experience of healing. And it was then I realized that no, we as doctors are blessed to experience this beautiful experience of healing, and it is not that we giving them something, but they are giving us this experience. And that's where the feeling of oneness, this beautiful healing process came up, and she's an amazing inspiration to me. And of course my guru, Dr. Avadut Shivanand Babaji, who has actually, I feel Ekam is an offering to him, and he's been driving it. And this whole journey has been amazing. Individuals, be it classmates or friends, volunteers, donors, the board of trustees or advisors, and the team. It's been a beautiful experience of oneness, and always felt that any intention which is pure, nature responds with lots of love and abundance. So that's been the journey.
Wonderful. So in 7 years, Ekam Foundation has reached to 1.08 million kids. That's an amazing number. But coming back to just the number of two between Dr. Nilima and Dr. Sai, Nilima ji, friendship offers a sense of oneness. You experience that sometimes through watching films, sometimes through dancing together, sometimes just walking together. So the kind of responsibilities that you have as Ekam Foundation grows are taking that oneness to a different level. So let us start from the initial stages, maybe in medical college, if you were interacting more with Sai, and what kind of common activities were drawing attention of both of you?
So at the time, Sai was unique, more and different than any one of us in terms of she would just practically live in the hospitals because she just wanted to serve as many patients as possible and take our night calls, night duties and everything too. So she just wanted to learn and serve, and so we knew she was different. But when she practically solved this problem, how she came up with this solution to this public health problem of not being able to provide for children in the public hospitals, it's an amazing structure that she developed. I think it's a divine download. She just got it straight from God into her head, how she came up with this idea, how she implemented it. She started as one, but it's unity and diversity. So many people have joined her. So when I started here, myself and my friend Aruna from Baton Rouge, we both started, and Shilpa is our classmate. We started the organization. It was just the three of us. Now we have 20 chapters across USA with almost more than 100 youth volunteers and their parents and a lot of other volunteers who have joined us in this effort to take Ekam forward. Anytime anyone meets Sai or listens to her presentation about the work being done and they see that her passion, they get inspired. They say, we want to start a chapter in our city. So we started 8 chapters this visit, and we started the other 12 last year when she was traveling across the USA.
Wonderful. So there is organic growth of Ekam, and here I'm going back to the root, the seed. And divine download is a wonderful expression, Dr. Nilima. Thank you. I never heard that before. Now, the divine downloaded Dr. Sai. She mentioned that you were practically living in the hospital during the days when you were just in the medical college or something. So, my question, many times we feel that if you are so much absorbed in your work, then you don't have time to socialize, and you end up making many of your friends unhappy that you don't have time for them, etc. Yet it seems that you managed to have affectionate and very warm relationship with many of your friends. Many of them are here, and I'm sure there are many in India also. So how you find this unique ability to commit to your work and yet have the kind of relations that you have?
Yeah, as you rightly said, maybe initially cutting down on all the other things which were actually I felt like I was more wanting to spend time, be it in the hospital or whatever I wanted to do. Once we are actually firm with that, people used to understand, be it friends or anybody, and somehow I always felt like there's a deep connection between the human souls. It's not just exchange of that physical whatever could be the material thing, but there is beyond. If I meet somebody, it's like it's destined to meet that person, and there's something which is beyond. That feeling was all the time there, and something which is happening, it is something which is beyond, which is not. So all the friends right now, if we see, like I feel like whoever has been a part of the journey in my life, be it elementary school friends or they are in fact the New Jersey 5K run recently was done by my elementary school friends whom we have not met in these 30 years, but now they are we have sort of got connected now, and it's happening at the right time, we would say, that.
So Dr. Nilima, taking a cue from Dr. Sai, I think somewhere in most of us, or probably in all of us, we have this desire to be drawn towards a space of purity, a space of truthfulness, and when we see that there is a sense of selfless service, then probably we want to participate. So with that, let me ask you a question. You heard her talk about her work, or you have also seen firsthand in India as to how Ekam Foundation is reaching out to these kids or working on training those individuals who are supportive hospital staff.
Yes. So you said the exact words that I was thinking of saying. When I think everyone has that innate tendency that they want to do something, they want to help anyone in need, but they're looking for the opportunity. So when you present them with such a beautiful opportunity, they all just can't wait to step in. People have donated their time and their money. So we have grown like from a small organization. We started, and Ekam USA started 3 years ago, and Ekam Foundation started 10 years ago. And we went from like $40,000 in the first year to $100,000 to $250,000 now. So that is all thanks to all the people who like to donate and participate in this. And without the help of our volunteers, we're not able to do anything because they're completely run by volunteers who do not take any salary, so we pretty much have no administrative or operative costs. All the money we raise, we ensure that it goes towards the projects that are being done in India. And also, if you ever want to help a child, it's not like let's give him the medication that is missing or let's feed him one time. It's a permanent solution to the problem by reinforcing the existing government hospitals that we usually give up and say, okay, we can't fix the government. We can't work with the government. But Sai has found a way where what she's doing is supporting what the government has in place instead of saying, oh, that's not a good system, let's create another hospital. What's the point, right? If we put whatever is missing in a government hospital, like one hospital did not have a ventilator, so children would die. By providing that ventilator or even renting a ventilator, you are actually helping the government, but making use of the government resources, because by putting the child there, by spending minimum money for the ventilator, you can make use of the free doctor, free nurses, free medicines, free room, free food, free blood tests. Everything else is being done by the government. So we're actually making the government work more for us, just making the system more efficient. Because we get that question a lot, why are you putting this in the government hospital? Isn't that the job of the government? So we're actually making them do their job better by just doing minimal investment and just bridging the gaps where they're needed. So Sai is a pediatrician, so she knows exactly what the problem is. And all the doctors, they don't look at her as an outsider. They say she's one of us and she's here to help us. So when she approaches the government hospitals and the doctors, they're more than happy to come forward and help her in whatever she wants to do.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Nima, and I'll come back to you. And Dr. Sai, working with a patient and helping in the process of healing, I think it is satisfying, and that's why mostly you guys who have studied medicine pursue that. So you change your role. Once you have founded Ekam, probably you do not have time for that kind of one-on-one work with any patient. So in terms of your internal experience, how different it is now? You're more in like a managerial or someone who would inspire and motivate. So you are like a communicator, and you are sharing your spirit, which is very good, but it is not a doctor there.
Yeah, so yes, absolutely understand what you are saying, but for me this is giving an absolute pleasure and satisfaction, because being in the public healthcare system in a resource crunch area, it was like feeling of sort of nothing could be done, though we want to do so much of a thing. And in a private care it is like if you have money I would treat, and if you don't have money I cannot, and that was where I couldn't be in the private care. But how best to complement a system so that every child gets a good quality health care was the mission and the drive. and ACOM has given me the absolute satisfaction of moving in that direction, like complementing a public healthcare system and seeing that every child gets the good quality healthcare and how best to utilize the private care. So the entire knowledge learnt helped me as a sort of build ACOM as a beautiful model. So this is giving me absolute satisfaction rather than treating the patients one-on-one.
Wonderful. So, Dr. Leena, I don't know how closely you have been involved in each other's lives after you moved to America, but were you aware that Dr. Sai had breast cancer at that time when it was detected, or you learned about it later?
So it was before the age of email, so we did not keep in touch with her too much. But when I learned that she had breast cancer, I went and visited her the first time when she had it. She actually got me started on my spiritual path with inspirational books. And she was so positive at the time when she was diagnosed. She had to stay home and do chemotherapy for 6 months. And she emailed us, all of us, saying, "Thank you, God, for this good opportunity where I can sit and do my paperwork for my organization," because otherwise I didn't have time to do it. So that's why she's inspiration, not just for this, but also in terms of her spiritual and healthcare journey. So when she had a recurrence of the breast cancer, she was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer a few years later in 2011. So it was a shock to all of us. I mean, how can such a nice person who never does anything wrong, she's so positive, how can she even get cancer, right? But the way she faced it is a lesson for anyone and everyone who deals with current healthcare problems. So she can tell us more about her story.
So we would like to know a little bit more about your story and continuing with what she said. And prior to this show also, you were sharing that you felt it's a godsend opportunity and you can make many of your friends aware about how they could help. So this mindset of seeing adversity as an opportunity to do something good, was this a part of your personality all along, and who would you give credit for that?
Again, it's a divine grace and blessing. It was all the time there, and I never felt like I was going to die, but definitely there was an introspection that there would be a shift in the direction of life where it would take to, and every time it was a blessing in disguise, I would say. So the first time was I could give completely the time to ACOM and sort of the journey moved on. And the second time when I got the spinal metastasis, that was when I got my guru, and Dr. Avadut Shivanand Babaji, and Shiv Yoga meditation was one. I was actually wanting to experiment this body on various type of treatments, allopathy to Ayurveda, herbal, energy healings.
Let me hold you here for a moment, because I said hold you because, and I would request you to continue where you have left. But you said, I wanted this body to experience different kind of treatment. So you are clearly not identifying yourself with the body. So who is this I? That is the question.
And still, maybe I don't know. And in this life, I would understand it more as a part of meditation process. But definitely, I am not this body. Is something my guru made us experience, as a part of sadhana. But at that time, it was beautiful. Like few of my friends would come and say, like I would do Reiki for you, and few would say pranic healing, and somebody would come and give me this herbal medication. So that was a time I was just observing what changes are happening in this body. Like for example, if I would get pain, somebody at distance would say, "I'll start healing," and once she starts healing, the pain would disappear. And sometimes so this was amazing to me, like seeing first hand experience on this body and not going through the suffering which the body is supposed to go through. And that was a time when I met Babaji and started doing the Shiv Yoga sadhana and Advait Sri Vidya sadhana. And when I started, during the Shivir itself, I could literally feel the vibrations and so I could sense that the body experience. So there's something which is beyond to this physical body. And gradually when I started doing the regular sadhana, almost daily practices which he taught us, and in 6 months time we repeated the PET scan, which was actually normal. And the day which I started, that day itself I realized that I was actually sort of improving, and so that's a beautiful experience to experiment on a body and a life. And being as a doctor and as a patient, it was a beautiful experience because I am there on both the sides, and this was a real blessing to experience.
So I just laughed because here someone referring to being experiencing breast cancer as a blessing. So now I know where you're coming. I'm just looking at it in a broad spectrum. And Dr. Nilima, talk to me a little bit about, as a physician, when someone, and that too your friend, refers to being cured without medicine by somebody's prayer, or let us put this in the alternative medicine bracket. So how effective you think is the alternative medicine, and is American health system ready or is gearing up to acknowledge that there is some way other than what we know, which also has the power to heal?
So two aspects of it. One, I'm a gastroenterologist and I see a lot of patients with cancer and other medical problems, including pancreatic cancer, which everybody is scared of. I do a special procedure, so I see a lot of those patients. So I would even get depressed when I see them because there's some limited medical treatments you can do for that. So I think definitely America, not just Indians, but Americans are at a point where they realize that it is not just medication, not just a pill that you want, but you have to take care of your body, whether it's by nutrition. They all realize the importance of stress relief, which is causing all these diseases, not just diabetes and high blood pressure, but also leading to other disorders also. So they understand, especially physicians, we see more of them looking for alternative solutions. Having said that, even Sai took the regular medical treatment. She did not ignore, so she never stopped her medication. She did what the doctors recommended her to do. So that's what we always say, do that. And on top of that, you want to strengthen your immune system by doing some of these alternate things, whatever works for you. As far as blessing is concerned, Sai's illness was not a blessing just for her, but for all of us too. So how can someone having a cancer be a good thing? But it's not for that. She is such a positive inspiration. When she meets any of my friends and anybody that I know who has health problems, I share her story or she talks to them. They all get inspired. Oh, she got better after having cancer, so why can't I get better? So that is why her story is just an inspiration for anybody that's dealing with any illness, that things can happen. And we all got introduced to the Siddhi Yoga meditation because she had the cancer. So I think it is a true blessing.
So it's a blessing to be talking to these two wonderful human beings, and of course dedication with which Ekam Foundation is serving in terms of training nurses and helping in maintaining critical equipment, transporting sick infants to the nearest district hospitals, and providing lab tests, support, drugs and medicines in select government hospitals. And just a few minutes that we have, I want first Dr. Sai Lakshmiji to compare how physicians take care of their patients here in the American health system and the difference that you have observed in India.
Yeah, so the main difference is physicians in the government hospitals in India, they have a huge overload, and there's a huge shortage of manpower. So many a times we have to deal with almost like, for example, me as a postgraduate, when I was working, literally like 100 kids at a time, and there would be so many sick kids who are there, and we need to attend to all of them. We need to actually do multitasking, like literally attend the labor room calls, the cesarean calls, and so much of multitasking happens. So let's
You're good. You're good. Now this is multitasking. You have to put the mic and keep
Yeah,
talking.
so that's a real you need, and where do I get the labs done? So at the back of the mind, so many things are going on because you need the equipments to be functioning. Then so many things like medicines. Where do I get blood products, antibiotics, and how do I actually? So these sort of things happen there because of discrepancy in the supply and demand, as compared to here where everything is there, and the doctor just needs to concentrate on managing the patients. So that's something, it's a great blessing for the doctors here, and wish such type of systems are there in India for every doctor, because as doctors we all feel that we need to actually take care of the patients who come to us completely, but many a times it becomes very difficult. So that's what is the difference. And
So same question to you, Dr. Nilima ji, and also share your views about the vision which led Dr. Sai Lakshmi to move towards founding Ekam Oneness, and has it been, how effective it has been?
So the idea is obviously very attractive to a lot of the physicians, Indian physicians who have seen this back home when we were training. So they see that Sai is actually able to do it. That's why a lot of physicians have joined Ekam. And when we have started it, but we need the youth to take this forward. So that is one of Sai's beautiful ideas, is the Ekam Youth Ambassador Program, the details of which you can find on our website, Ekam, that's EKAM, USA.org. So we have all these chapters with all these youth volunteers who have come forward, one, to connect to their home country, which they may not have a lot of ties growing up here, but we are giving them an opportunity to adopt a village and see what the needs are, communicate with the youth there, and be able to fundraise and talk about Ekam at local events, raise awareness, understand the health problems that are there in rural areas, and be able to solve the problems they have. So one youth ambassador raised money for a water tank, one for a toilet, one for school supplies. They connect with the cause and they understand Ekam better because they are our future. They are the ones taking forward.
Wonderful.
And their parents automatically get involved because, and the whole idea I started this was because teenagers were getting away from the parents. So this way, when they do even locally service activities, because we want to improve volunteerism in kids, they do it together. So they created a lot of bonding, as we saw in the New Jersey 5K event. All the parents and youth came together.
Sorry, we are almost running out of time, so I would request Dr. Sai to briefly share the experience of the recent NJ 5K run, which was, and especially the response of the kids or teenagers.
Yeah, it was amazing, and the response was so beautiful. The New Jersey coordinators, they have worked so hard and spread the awareness, and almost they were expecting 150 and 175 turned out. And amazing was the children who participated, who actually were a part of this initial process of coordination and all.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and
so
they did wonderfully.
the beauty is the dedication and the passion to serve continues to flow from this generation to that generation and then to that generation, and this is the sense of being sensitive to each other that makes us truly human. And Ekam, the force of oneness, brings all of us together to connect with this spirit to serve and share. And the joy of serving can only be understood when someone experiences it on their own. So first I want to thank Dr. Nilima ji for joining us. Thank you very much. And with lots of good wishes for her, as well as for you, as well as for Ekam Foundation. On behalf of ITV Gold and our chairman, Dr. Sudhir Parikh, also, I extend a lot of good wishes and thanks for joining us here.
Thank you.
As always, thanks with lots of good wishes. This is Ashok Vyas.